What's going on, guys? It's Iridium here, and today I'm going to give you guys 5 pro tips for beginners in Rocket League. Before I get started, I wanted to let you guys know that this is in fact tips for beginners. These tips can really benefit anyone. Mainly they're directed towards people with about 0 to 300 to 500 hours. So if you're a higher rank and you're watching this, just be aware that you might know some of these tips and tricks already. So as usual, without further ado, let's get right to the first tip. The amount of the field you see is very important in Rocket League. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is your camera settings. If you guys haven't messed with your camera settings yet, this is a must. If you have the default settings, it should look something like this. And this is what it looks like when you're actually on the field. I'm assuming you would know that if these are your default settings. But the thing we're looking at is how close the camera is to the car and how much of the field you cannot see. The camera is shaking and moving all over the place, and this is not what we want to be able to concentrate on what's going on in the field. So let's go back to our camera settings and switch up to the ones that I use. What I'm running now is Squishy Muffin settings, and if you guys want to pause right now and copy these onto your screen, feel free to do so. If not, they will be in the description below. These camera settings just really suit my personal style, and it gives me a really good view of the field and what's going on around me. So if we hop back into free training, we can see how much of the field I can actually see now. Let's take a look at it before and after with the default settings versus the settings we have now. Obviously, if you guys are comfortable with the default settings, by all means keep using those, but I really encourage you to try some new ones out eventually. Once again, the camera settings that I'm using right now and in this video are going to be in the description below if you guys want to copy them and use them for yourself. So let's speed it up now and move on to the second tip. So tip number 2 is to save your guys' replays. Whether you had a bad game or a good game, it's always a great idea to save replays. If you had a bad game, you can look over it and see what you did wrong, and if you had a good game, you can go over it and see what you did right. A good idea is always to go on YouTube and look for a high-level pro game or tournament match, and then afterwards look over the replays that you've saved and see where you compare to the pros and where you differ from the pros, and see what they do in similar situations to what you've been in and where you've done wrong. The more you do this, the better you will get and the more aware and consistent you will get. Tip 3 is to use the trainings that Psyonix gave you. Whether it's just in your spare time or while you're queuing for a match, go into free training or go into aerial training or go into custom training and just play around. It never hurts to keep working on that ball control whenever you get the chance. A really good practice tactic that I used to use to work on my aerial game was just the default all-star aerial training. It's what I would do to warm up and cool down before I started playing and after I was done for the night. If you're a beginner, all-star aerial training probably looks like the craziest, most insane thing you're ever going to do, and you're going to want to start on the rookie or pro sets. But trust me, all-star is the one you want to attempt because the rookie and pro shots really don't prepare you for the real thing in-game. I would just go through it until I scored all 10 shots. It doesn't have to be on the first try, just do it over and over again until you make the shot, and then go on to the next and make that shot. You don't have to 100% it, you don't even have to 10% it, just get at least all the shots in. And as time goes on, you guys will be able to make these shots more consistently and more on your first try. Although these aerials really aren't going to happen in a real game, the shots are really fast paced and high up in the air, so it challenges you to get up quick and put the shots where you want them. Tip number 4 is just a simple goalkeeping tip. When you're in net, instead of panicking outside in the box, what you want to do is be behind the line of the net and have the butt of your car up against the wall opposite to the direction of which the ball is coming at you from. As we can see from this loop, backing up to the left side of the net when the ball is coming from the right gives me full coverage of the net and allows me to have a lot more reaction time and setup time for clearing the ball to my teammate. Now the 5th and final step is one that you're going to cherish forever. Some of you guys might know about this control already, some of you might not, but step 5 is using air roll. I know a good amount of people who didn't even know about air roll until a few months after they started playing. Air roll can be bound to any comfortable button for you on your controller or keyboard, and while holding it you can do a barrel roll like move with your car. The main reason I'm stressing to use air roll is so you beginners out there can learn how to land on your wheels. If you're on the wall or attempting to go for an aerial and you flop on the ground on your back or your side, this can delay your recovery time and be a difference between a goal or a save. But if you learn to use air roll to land on your wheels all the time, no matter what, you'll be able to speed up your recovery time and just your gameplay in general. And just like that, the video's over, guys. So that's going to conclude the 5 tips that I've came up with for beginners. I plan to make a part 2 of this beginner's tips in the future, and eventually I'll be making some intermediate and advanced tips videos as well. If you guys would like me to make an extended tutorial on any of these tips you saw in the video today, just let me know in the comments below. But other than that, I hope you guys can take these 5 tips and apply them to your everyday game. As usual, I'll be replying to all comments, so if you guys do have any questions, leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And on that note, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll check you all on Thursday with a brand new video. Ta-ta for now.